Guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have my November Wheel of TBR for you, so stay tuned. It's that time again. It's time for the next wheel. So before we get into the wheel, let's go over last month. So here is what I was supposed to read from the wheel in October. Well, actually, this one is something I was supposed to read from the wheel in September and didn't get to. So I had to do it in October. And I did complete it. And technically, this one wasn't really on my wheel. It was the selection for the audiobook that was on my wheel. But I ended up completing the audiobook in September, right before the start of October. So this ended up being my audiobook. So I completed this. And then for the rest of my spins, we had for contemporary, The Au Pairs by Melissa Dela Cruz, and I did complete this. For A through Z, I had to pick an author that their first or last name started with the letter E, and so for that I read Hello Universe by Erin Entrada Kelly, and I did complete that. For beautiful cover, I had to read Shadows of the Hidden by Anne Riley, and I did complete that. For color, which was like a pinkish red, I was supposed to read The Impossible Fairy Tale by Han Yujo, and I did read part of it and then I DNF'd it, but I'm counting that as I completed it. For Kuntz, I was supposed to read Innocence, and I did complete this. I also said that it was the start of a series, but it's not. I don't think it actually is. It just showed up as the first in a series, but it's the only in that series. But I did complete that, if I didn't already say. For thriller, I had to read The Third Victim by Lisa Gardner, and I did complete this. For friend pick, I was to read Blue Bloods by Melissa Dela Cruz. My friend Clint picked this, and I did complete it. For middle grade, I was to read The Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan, and I did complete this. And for different country, I was to read Sapphire Blue by Kristen Geyer, and I'm currently reading this. As I'm filming this, there's still about a week left in the month, and I'm buddy reading this, and I'm currently on page 109. I'm actually behind on my buddy read, but I will complete this before the end of the month. Future editing me here. I forgot to film a little intro for this next clip, so I wanted to do this now. So back in August, Marty was supposed to read a book, a Dean Koontz book that I picked from him spinning the wheel, and he wasn't able to read it in August because, well, he had surgery on his wrist and stuff, and he was like medicated and all that, so he was kind of not really up for doing a lot of reading, and so I ended up giving him an extra month, and so in September he did complete it, and here's the clip of him sharing his thoughts. All right, Marty, tell us your thoughts on The Bad Place. Tell us what it's about and like what you rate it.
I thought it was an okay book. I rated it like 3.5. It's about a group of detectives who happen upon this client that has amnesia, and he's being chased by some otherworldly entity, and it turns out that they're all related and weird genetic mutations that cause them to have supernatural powers. It's kind of hard to describe. It's worth a read though if you're interested. A little slow to start, but it picks up kind of toward the last quarter of the book. So I'd say it's worth a read if you want to.
Yeah, Dean Koontz books typically are kind of hard to describe because they're all pretty weird, but like a good weird, not like, in my opinion, like, well, some of them are overly weird, but most of them are not. They're just twisted. So did you enjoy spinning the wheel and having 2 months to read the book?
I'd say overall I give that a 3.
He's not a fan. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you haven't watched my November Have I Read It, you should definitely go check that out. I'll link that up here. It's ridiculous. I had 3 different haul videos in November to go through, so it was a lot. But these are the books that I'm supposed to read from that Have I Read It, and I'm going to try to fit these into some of the challenges from the wheel if possible. We'll see how that works out. And then I also have 3 books that I intend on buddy reading in November. So we have Emerald Green by Kirsten Geyer. It is the 3rd and final book in the Ruby Red trilogy. So I want to finish that series. Then we have The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. This is the last book in the Percy Jackson series, so I can finish that series as well. And then we're going to start a new series. We're going to start Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow, and I'm excited about this one. Well, I'm excited about everything, but I'm really excited for that one. I also intend on doing Believathon in November. So I want to try to fit as many middle grade books as I possibly can into the wheel, as well as trying to fit these things into the wheel. So it's gonna be something. Also, if you don't know, whenever I spin on a certain triangle, I mark it, and once I get to 5 marks on one triangle, I have to do an extra spin for that month. And if you watched last month's Wheel of TBR, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these spaces that have 4 marks on them. So I have a feeling we're gonna get a few extra spins this time around. But I also created a ton of new prompts, and I mixed them up with some of my old prompts as well. But most of these prompts in here are going to be newer prompts to go onto the wheel, and I'm really excited about that. So let's just get started with our first spin. Graphic novel. Ooh. I don't know if I have any middle grade graphic novels. Let me see. Actually, I do. I have Sanity and Tallulah Field Trip. This is the 2nd in the Sanity and Tallulah series. I've read the first one, and it was really cute. They're in space, and they definitely get into some trouble. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It looks like they lose their candy in space. Okay, so we're going to replace graphic novel with author that I love. This is one of my old prompts, not a new one. And that can just be any author that I've enjoyed their books. And let me mark that. That one puts 2 on that space. All right, spin number 2. Oh my gosh. I wish Xander were here right now. He would be freaking out. Okay, I know the book that he wants. Like, he picked his book for me before I even had a Xander Pick thing. And I don't know if I should just show it to you or film a clip letting him show it to you. Who knows? He may change his mind, but I doubt it. So I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to film a clip of him. It'll be late tonight, or it actually might be tomorrow when I film this clip of him, just because we're probably not going to get home until really late tonight. So I'm going to let him do his little Xander pick, and I'm going to enter that here. Okay, so I'm looking a little crazy right now. We're at a completely different angle. It's like after midnight, but Xander wanted to go ahead and film his clip. So Come on in, Xander, and show what you've picked for the Xander pick.
I have picked the K because it's a good book.
Because it's good book?
Because good book.
He knew exactly what he wanted me to read.
This or the Bible.
Oh gosh. Well, I appreciate this one. He did tell me if I gave it anything lower than 5 stars. He didn't finish that statement. Alright, so I will be reading The K by Theodore Taylor. And do you want to say anything about what this is about?
It's good. This kid and this guy get stuck on an island, and they survive. That's it. It's good.
Alright.
It's more than that, but like, I leave now and you read the back of the book.
Well, it's just a castaway, stranded type story, and it's short, very short, which is handy. Now back to the rest of this video. Okay, so you all know what Xander has picked. I'm going to guess that he will pick The K by Theodore Taylor. This is probably Xander's all-time favorite book, and he's been begging me to read this for like ever, and I've been saving this just because of doing something like this. This is literally only like 137 pages, so I'm gonna guess this is the book that he picked, but it very well may not be. He may have changed his mind, so I'm gonna keep this over here until then until I know for sure. Okay, so replacing Xander Pick and marking that spot, which that's the first mark that one's gotten. That Xander Pick one has been up for months. Okay, we're gonna replace that with Al Crate Jr. I have gotten Al Crate Jr. since I think they first started Al Crate Jr. And we have loved just about every one of those books, and we kind of have like a lot to catch up on, so, and it also works perfect for Believathon, so yay. All right, now on to spin number 3. Buddy read. Okay, I'm going to pick Nevermore by Jessica Townsend for this one. Perfect. Okay, marking that. That gives 3 on that one. And we're going to replace Buddy Read with Middle Grade. Oh, the Al Crate Jr. one was one of my newer ones. Middle Grade's not. I've had that one on. I had that one for a while. That's another one that's going to be really handy if it comes up for November. All right, spin number 4. Melanie's pick. Okay. That wheel is being so good. Why did I say that? I think I just jinxed myself. Okay, so Melanie's pick means I get to pick any book that I want, and I'm going to pick one of these because I got to read one of these anyway. So I'm going to pick Thresholds by Anina Kiriki Hoffman. And this is about a book. Oh, this is not about a book. This is about a girl. And she moves into this place and a fairy flies into her room and her neighbors have magical powers. And she learns that she has a little magic of her own. And this is also a middle grade. Okay, we will replace Melanie's pick. Oh, let me mark that as well. Oh no! That is a extra spin. That's one that I had 4 on. I just realized that. Okay, we're replacing that with friend group. This is to read a book with a friend group in it. And we will have to do 11 spins instead of 10. So that was spin number 4. So now on to spin number 5. Adult. Do I have any adult books here? I don't think any of the books in my I have to read are adult. So let me look around and see what I can find. You know, I need to make some room up here for all of my Once Upon a Book Club things. So I'm going to do this Once Upon a Book Club mini edition. What is this? Okay. I think this was like a Halloween mini edition. Let me pull everything out so I can show you the book. The book in this box is No One's Home by D.M. Pulley. Secrets, Lies, Someone Dies. So I will be reading that. And I will vlog the whole thing so that you can see what the gifts are for this as well. If you don't know, the way the Once Upon a Book Club box works is when you're reading the book, you'll get to certain pages that have like a little sticky note in it that say, open your gift for page whatever. And so you just go and you find your gift that has that particular page number on it and open it up. And it's something to go along with the story. And I just love it. It makes it so interactive and fun. So sticking that there. I'm excited for this month. I think it's going to be an amazing month. All right, we're going to replace adult with, first let me mark it. We're going to replace that with Have I Read It? And for this, I just get to pick one of the books from my Have I Read It video. So yay. I also have a prompt somewhere in here. I don't know if it's like close to the top or not, but it's my Have I Read It extras. So it's not the ones that I have to read this month, but like all the extras that pile up. So I have 2 giant stacks. Oh my goodness, because of November's hauls. 2 giant stacks of books for my extras. But this one's just for those 10. Okay, now we're on to spin number 6. LGBTQ plus. I don't think any of those count. Let me see if I can find one that's middle grade. I decided to go with Drumroll Please by Lisa Jen Bigelow, and this is about a girl who, while at Camp Rockaway, begins to learn that she has feelings for her bandmate, this other girl named Adeline, and it's also about a friendship kind of growing apart. And I think I've heard really good things about this one. I think it's gonna be really good. Okay, so let's mark that and replace that with Mystery. And this is one of my newer ones as well. All right, now for spin number 7. Retelling. Oh, and that makes that one 5 as well. Okay, I do have a retelling, I think. No, I don't. Hold on. This is actually one that came up on my Have I Read It, and I put it in my extras stack, and it is a modern day retelling of The Tempest by William Shakespeare. This is called Tempestuous, and I think it's like Mean Girls meets Shakespeare type thing, and I think it's gonna be really, really cute. Also, it's fairly short. It's only, it looks like 222 pages, so that'll be good. And because that makes this one 5, that means instead of 11 spins, we will have 12 this month. So replacing retelling with Supernatural. This is anything with like a supernatural element. I think this is one that somebody actually recommended me in, not my last Wheel of TBR, but the one before, because I was asking for prompt ideas, and I think this is one that somebody said. All right, I think, what number are we on? I think it's 8. Yes, this is the 8th spin. Have I read it? Yay! Sorry if the angle changed, but my SD card filled up because right before filming this, I filmed my Have I Read It, and well, that took a while. So for my Have I Read It prompt, I can just pick any book that was part of my 10, and for that I'm just going to choose The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. And I know this has something to do with Jack the Ripper, and it says, a gorgeously written, chilling atmospheric thriller. The streets of London have never been so sinister or so romantic. And that's a blurb by Cassandra Clare. That would definitely work for the prompt that I have, like blurbed by an author that I love. Okay, so we will replace Have I Read It. We will mark that, which gives this one 4 now. And we will replace that with alternate world. So this is any book set in an alternate world. Any book set in a world other than our own. Okay, spin number 9. Wild card. And this is to pick a book I don't know much about. And I didn't go over what all of these books in my Have I Read It are about. So one of them that I didn't really go into looking too much about was Cold Fury. This, I don't know, it's a thriller, I think. Girls on the run. She's marked by an assassin, something like that. So I don't really know anything about this book. So that's what I'm going to choose for that. Let me scoot that down because my stack here is kind of thick. Okay. So let's replace wild card and mark that. And that one has 2 now. And we're going to replace it with Once Upon a Book Club Special Edition. So that one I picked earlier would have worked perfect for this. But I also have like a classic edition. I have their middle grade box. I just recently got a Halloween box. So yeah, I can use one of those. Okay, this is, I think this is spin number 10 now. Yes, spin number 10. Supernatural. So, let's see. What do I have? Oh. I have a few things here. So we have You Are So Undead to Me, the zombies kind of thing, and Meeting, which is like an alien encounter thing, I think. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Meeting because it's the sequel to Thresholds. So I'm going to do that one. And then we will mark that. This one has a 1 again. And we'll replace Supernatural with Mythology Inspired. So anything based on mythology. So for this, I probably would pick The Last Olympian. I think it's the only one that's mythology inspired that I already have to read. So now we're going on to, like, I guess my bonus spin. So 11. Anthology, and it's another one. It's another one that's already got 4. Which means instead of doing 12 spins, I'm doing 13. Okay, do I have any anthologies here? Not there. I do have a couple of anthologies on my extras, so let me go grab those. Actually, I decided to not go with one of my Have I Read It extras because I had one middle grade anthology. So that's what I'm going with. And that is Troll's Eye View, a book of villainous tales written by Neil Gaiman, Holly Black, Nancy Farmer, Kelly Link, Garth Nix, and Jane Yolen. Let me double check that this is actually middle grade. Okay, it looks like it's middle grade. It looks like some people might think it's YA, but it also seems to be middle grade. Plus, the way it's written is like the text is very large. More like, you know, in a middle grade book. So that's what I'm gonna go with, because I need all the middle grade I can get. Okay. So replacing anthology. I already swiped that, and we're going to replace that with book that involves a game. This is another one of my new ones. So what spin am I on? This is spin number 12, and I have 13 to do. Book that involves a game. Right back to the same spot. Mark that one. And what do I have? Oh. You Are So Undead to Me. It looks like soccer, maybe? Let me see. Maybe not. I mean, it looks like she does some kind of sport. Nah, I'm not gonna count that one. Hold on, let me see what I can find over here. You know what? I just looked in my most recent haul, and instead of this for my anthology, because I'm not 100% certain that it is middle grade, I just saw that people reviewed it saying middle grade, but that was it. But this one I know is middle grade because it came in an Crate Junior box, and it actually says ages on the back, and that is Straw into Gold, Fairy Tales Respun, and it's an anthology of different fairy tale retellings. So there's like a Rumpelstiltskin, a Rapunzel, a Cinderella, Pied Piper, Snow White, The Princess and the Pea, Red Riding Hood, 12 Dancing Princesses, Hansel and Gretel, and the Swan Brothers. And these are all like retellings of those. So we have the Prince and the Problem instead of the Princess and the Pea, things like that. So that's what I'm actually going to use for that one. Now continuing to look for my book that involves a game. Okay, so I was trying to find a middle grade book that had a game in it, but I'm drawing a blank. And there might be like something obvious, but I can't for the life of me think of one. I'm sure you're all like screaming ideas at me right now, but I honestly, I don't have a clue. So I decided to go with a YA one, and that is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is an arc that actually, the book came out this month in October, so I want to get around to reading this one, and this will be fun. I've been really looking forward to reading this book. So we'll do that, and let me take this one off and mark it, and we will replace that with a one-word title, and that was spin number 12, I think, which means we have one more. Yes, so spin number 13, and I think this is my final spin. If I messed up on how many extra ones I had to do, I'll just add it next time, but yeah. I think this is my final spin, unless I get another extra. Mythology inspired. For that one, I will be reading The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan, because, well, it's definitely mythology inspired. Okay, so those are all the books that I have to read, plus whatever Xander picks out for me, which I'll film that tomorrow. So let me gather up everything. So this is everything that the wheel gave me. And now I'm going to sort through these as well as the Believathon compendium and figure out what my TBR for that is. And I'll be back shortly to let you know what I picked for what challenges. Real quick, I forgot to mark this and swap out, so let me do that real quick. So marking that gives that one 2. Replacing this with readathon. So that'll be on there for December, which works out again because I have Merry Bookmas coming up soon. All right, let me go take care of this Believathon TBR and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my Believathon 3 compendium here, and I'm not going to go too much into all of the challenges and all of the books, but I will tell you that you have to get certain items like the key to solve the mystery in the end, and to get each item you have to complete a challenge, complete or read a certain book. So for the key, I have to read a mystery, and for that I will be reading from the Mixed Up Files of Miss Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsberg. And I'm not going to go into what all the books are about, but this is a mystery. Okay, and sorry if I'm kind of rushing because I have to leave in like 10 minutes. For the next one, the fingerprints. In order to collect the fingerprints, you must read a book written by an author from a different culture as you. And for that, I will be reading Live Sugar Magic, A Dash of Trouble by Anne Morano. And I believe she is Mexican, if I am correct. I know that the main character in this is Mexican. So that's what I'll be reading for that. And then for the Scream, to collect the Scream, you must listen to an audiobook or read a book out loud. And for that, I will be listening to The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. In order to find the torn page, you must read a book with a supernatural element. And for that, I will be reading Meeting, which is the second book in the Threshold series. This one features like an alien encounter. So there we go. For the Crown, in order to collect it, you must read a book that is set in an alternate world to our own, and for that I will be reading Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. For the Spilled Ink, in order to collect Spilled Ink, you must read a book that features ghosts, and for that I will be reading The Girl and the Ghost by Hannah Alkaf. It's a dagger. In order to pick it up, you must read a book that is set in a dangerous setting. And for that, I will be reading Sanity and Tallulah Field Trip. They end up getting stranded on a planet that's about to explode. Then we have the Backpack. In order to collect the Backpack safely, you must read a book by a new to you author. And I will be reading Thresholds, which is the first book in this series, by Nina Kiriki Hoffman. She is a new to me author. And then for the Footprints, in order to collect the Footprints, you must read a book that features a prominent villain. For that, I will be reading Straw into Gold, Fairy Tales Respun by Hilary McKay. This is like an anthology of fairy tale retellings, and they always have a very prominent villain, such as Rumpelstiltskin and so on. So I will be reading that. And then the hand mirror will show you the villain. In order to get the hand mirror safely, you must read a book with a beautiful cover, and for that I decided to choose Drumroll Please by Lisa Jen Bigelow. I also think this is a really pretty cover. For the chain, there's only one way to free yourself and collect part of the chain as a clue. You must read a book that features a colorful cast of friends. And for that, I will be reading The Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. The Flash of Lightning. In order to collect it, you must read a book that incorporates folk tales. And for that, I will be reading Malamander. Because, well, for one, the author that did this little part is Thomas Taylor, and on the back here it does say magical blend of oddball folklore and humor. So yeah, I'll be reading that. And then The Shadow. In order to get The Shadow, you must read a book that was first published in 2020. And for that, I will be reading The Girl and the Witch's Garden by Erin Bowman. And this is also a really pretty cover. And I think that is all of it. And then there's like the unmasking video on the Gavin's channel on the 30th. Okay. So this is what I will be reading for Believathon. And this is everything else I'll be reading in November. Oh, plus I'm also going to be reading one audiobook from my Have I Read It as well. And I've done it to myself again. For the month of November, I have to read 25 books. I don't make it easy on myself by any means. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you.